The Innovators is brought to you by the Jamaica Yellow Pages. What will you discover today? Columbus Business Solutions, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, The Gleaner, Future Services International, and Silver Star Motors. Meet the Innovators, Yannick Page and Gary Matalin. Over the next several weeks, they'll be helping aspiring and struggling entrepreneurs to make more money. Yannick Page launched her first business at age 17 and knows how to start a business on a shoestring budget. She's a certified trainer in entrepreneurship and workforce innovation and is also the founder of the award-winning company, Future Services International. Gary Matalin is the co-founder and director of New Stone Limited. This successful entrepreneur is also the co-founder of KLE Group, owners and operators of Fiction Lounge and Usain Bolt's Tracks and Records. This week, they will be joined by guest innovator Thalia Lynn, CEO of Island Grill Restaurants and awardee of FIU's Business Woman of the Year for 2002 and 2007.
Thalia, Yannick, today we're going to meet Sujan Edwards and Preston Haynes, and they're the proprietors of Forever Sweet. So let's learn a little bit about their business.
My name is Sujan Edwards, and the name of my company is Forever Sweet.
Starting Forever Sweet was not an easy task. I mean, we worked basically almost 100 hours a week. We both had 2 jobs, so it was not very an easy task.
What allows Forever Sweet to be of a higher standard is the overall experience of ordering a cake from us. It begins where the ordering process itself, where you're ordering your cake. You are given the opportunity to select your design, your size, the height, even the very color of your cake you get a chance to select.
I ordered cupcakes and my wedding cake, and I was very satisfied with the taste, the look. The guest said it was very delicious, the texture was good. It had a rich, moist taste.
If the client wants a customized cake, you can book an in-house consultation. Mr. Hines, this is where we've reached so far in terms of the design aspect. Would you like to change anything, customize anything?
Well, yes, I think you need to make the base a little bit bigger.
Okay, so you want a bigger base.
Right.
Now working with Preston as a partner, knowing that we have a relationship together and then working towards our own business, it has been a tremendous experience because he understands me and I understand him. We both know how to get along. We both know what to say to each other and how to say it. So that really helps.
All right. Interesting case. I mean, the work is fabulous. So let's meet them and see how we can help.
Preston, Sujan, welcome.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Forever Sweet. We love it. I mean, the work that you guys do is awesome. Tell us what the vision is for the company.
Well, the vision is basically becoming a household name.
In the next 5 years, I see Forever Sweet owning cake boutiques, not necessarily a cake shop, but I would say cake boutiques.
How long have you been in business now?
2 years. So we've been around a short time.
You said you wanted to expand your customer base, you really want more clients and so
Yes.
on. Do you have the capacity to do that? I mean, how many people are in the business?
Well, right now it's 2 of us, but if the need arises, I'm pretty sure that we can find persons.
How do you arrive at your pricing?
How we work out the pricing is this. The cost for the cake itself, in terms of the products that we use to get the cake done, how we really cost our cakes is divided into 3 parts and then multiplied. Now, the cost of the good is multiplied by 3. It covers the cost to produce the cake, It produces the labor and our overall overhead and profit.
So are you making money?
Yes, we are making money.
We are making enough money to survive day to day, but we're not at our full potential.
Constructing a cake of your caliber is not easy. So if all of a sudden you got 10 wedding cakes to do for one weekend, you'd have a problem, wouldn't you?
At this point, yes, we would.
Some of the challenges we're having at Forever Sweet, basically some of the materials that we use, they're not available out here. So from time to time when we see that we're running low, Sujan, she makes a trip and gets the relevant stuff.
So you have no formal training?
No, we don't.
But you have your food handler's permit and...
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Forever Sweet is registered. It's a registered company, and we have our food handler's permit.
How do you test the quality and how do you keep your standards where they always need to be?
In the process of researching, up until this point, we do try other person's cake. We know of other persons that are in the business, and we try to keep our standards above that. When it comes to the particular taste, when it comes to the particular texture, I am very critical about that in terms of every cake has to have a certain level of moisture. Every cake has to have a perfect height. If it is that we're doing a cake and it's not turning out how we would want it to be, I do it all over again.
Still to come on the Innovators.
Every aspect that you want to be added to the cake changes the price of the cake.
Stop 1 second.
In this environment, it's really tough, so don't overextend yourself. You know, there's nothing worse than not being able to service debt. And the second thing I would say is you have to be innovative, you have to be creative, because in a changing environment, you have to do things that are different.
At Forever Sweet, we use a lot of social media, which is our main means of promoting. We use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, BlackBerry Messenger.
The main reason I chose Forever Sweet as opposed to somebody else was the designs that I've seen on Facebook. I liked them. I was very excited after viewing them. As a result, I chose them to do my cakes.
Give me an idea, what's your production like now at this point in time? How many do you make in a given week on average?
On average, we make 3 to 5 cakes a week.
A week?
Yes.
And what's
per
the
week.
cost per cake?
Our basic price is $7,800. Each design or every aspect that you want to be added to the cake changes the price of the cake.
Stop 1 second. On average, you do 3
to 5 cakes per week.
cakes a week.
Yes.
And the average price would be...
Starting at $7,800.
How could that possibly be enough to pay Preston and meet your expenses?
Because we want to keep the prices at a level right now that we can actually get customers.
How long does it take you to do one cake right now?
On average, 4 to 5 hours.
No, but from the design stage right through.
It takes him 4 to 5 hours to design
it. So you see, your time is way off, you know, because you haven't even included the conversation with the customer and how long that discussion takes, because he told us earlier that, you know, the customer is involved at every step of the way. So I'm assuming that you have at least a decent conversation with the customer, taking some time, getting instructions, then doing a design, then showing it to them, then getting approval, then doing the cake. Listen, honey, you have a big problem. All right, so Jed, so you've given us a lot of work to do. I mean, it's really a big challenge. What we're going to try and figure out now is how are we going to get to your vision with the limited resources that you have and given the skill that what you're doing takes. So give us a little time and we'll call you back in.
Well, guys, I don't know. This is a tough one because, you know, I think that we've pointed out to them that there are concerns with the way that they're costing their cakes. That's going to be critical for them to understand what the true costs are, because it's one thing to try and be the low-cost player in this segment, but it's another thing to be doing the work at a loss.
They haven't costed in their time. They're, you know, it's very specialized. The market is very thin, and they're already major known players in the market.
Correct.
I think that for them to really grow this little business they're going to have to concentrate on something that is less labor intensive. The other thing I worry about too, a cake looks beautiful, but it also has to taste good. And I'm not sure. I see the pictures, cakes are beautiful, yes, but I don't know what the quality is like.
Yes, and I really want to go back to that quality issue because, you know, when we asked her, well, what are the procedures that you put in place for quality, you asked her that question, and it didn't seem to me as if there was a standardized quality procedure. And I think more people who are in food need to understand that when you're dealing with food, you really have to standardize
the process.
The process.
And I think that's the best advice we could probably give them, that they need to look at their process and figure it out.
So as we were discussing before, one of the concerns that we have is how you're capturing your costs and how your cost buildup is, or how it should influence your pricing. One of the things we're thinking you could do is possibly think outside the box and look at your proposition. Right now you're saying fully customized cakes, you know, we'll design it, we'll bake it, it'll come out exactly like this. You know, maybe there's another approach where you could say, you know, if you provide a design, we'll bake this cake for you. And that could eliminate a lot of the labor. I'm not trying to make it redundant, Preston, but I think that you need to figure out ways to look at your approach and cut it down a bit so that you can bring the price down from what it really should be.
I think what you have to work on are your processes. Because if your processes are complicated, your hours spent on every cake is going to be too long. It's going to price you out of the market. So you need to look at your processes. And one other thing I'm a little concerned about, the quality of your cakes. You have to make sure, I didn't hear you talk about a process to make sure that your cake tastes good as well.
Do a catalog for the designs you've already done. That way you don't have to redesign, and you can encourage people through discounts, through various other incentives, encourage your customers to buy from the catalog. And the last thing is, please, we're going to encourage you to find tools that you can use to make your work more efficient. There must be tools out there that can cut your time in half. Whatever exists, go and find it, try it, research, see what you need to do, but you have to get the cost down and you have to get the time that you spend down as well. Listen, you guys are doing fantastic work. We're very excited for you. I mean, the quality of your work is just amazing in terms of what you're able to produce.
It's now time for the assignments.
Sujan and Preston, I had to talk to you guys today. It's really important. So I have bad news and I have good news. Which one do you want first?
We'll work with the bad news first.
We're going to bad news first. Yes. Okay. I prefer to give you the good news first. All right. So the good news is that you guys have a pretty well-known brand. You know, people know about what you've been doing. They love your products, and that's excellent news. The bad news is that you have a bad reputation in terms of price. It doesn't matter how good you make your products, that reputation of being expensive can literally kill your business, you know. Because remember that you're in an industry where the barriers to entry are very, very low. Especially in this economy, in this environment, price is everything. I wanted to suggest something to you guys. I don't know if you've ever considered doing a guilt-free line. But guilt-free is really hot all over the world, and in Jamaica more and more people are becoming health conscious. If you could do guilt-free desserts, I think you have a winner there. My suggestion to you is to not just focus on the Jamaican environment. See if you can earn an income outside of here, and US dollar income is the best to earn, right? So that's my suggestion. I wish you guys all the best, but you have to fix the problems now, capitalize on the opportunities that exist, and I think you guys will be okay.
Coming up on The Innovators.
Want to know how you're making more money?
When Marcia met with The Innovators, her dream was to book more events and make better use of her location. Let's see what's happening with Marcia now.
Well, yes, I have done ads. I am doing more, but as you know, as we would go back to the first question, as in money, yes, it's an issue, but we are doing flyers and we are doing ads, and calls are coming in. I have work coming in for December. Thanks to the Innovators, it is working.
Sujan and Preston, thank you very much for having me over here today to talk to you about some ideas for Forever Sweet.
Thank you for taking the time out. We're really looking forward to the advice from Columbus.
How do you actually execute your promotional efforts on Facebook or on Instagram or on YouTube? Are you using YouTube as well?
Well, for the YouTube channel, we just started filming some tutorial videos, which we should start editing those very soon and putting those up on the YouTube channel.
Because of the amount of data that you're talking about generating, I'd like to suggest that you look at actually expanding from just the Facebook page and the Instagram and the social media channels to actually setting up your own dedicated website. There are a number of advantages that you can gain from that. Another thing that you want to possibly look at is how you communicate with them. So your communication seems to be initially on Facebook.
Yes.
And then when you talk to the customers now to work out the details of the product you're going to produce for them or the delivery and other details, you want to be talking to them over a dedicated telephone line. And so we also want to suggest that you could take advantage of our talk service and actually have a Flow landline with a dedicated number that you will keep forever, that you can actually communicate with your customers on, and you can include this number in your contact information on your website. I think the power of the landline telephone service will also be evident when you look at how it's going to impact the costs of your communication, because you do have access to a number of customers who already have their own Flow landline, and when you talk to somebody on a Flow landline, it's free.
I want our business to move from the point that it is now to a point where other persons know about us, not only in Jamaica but the Caribbean at large. We want our business to grow.
An average viewer spends 21 minutes per time that watching TV looking at the programming guide to select what they want to watch on TV. So we have come up with a great solution which leverages that visibility. It's called Interactive Programming Guide Advertising, and it has two components. There's a banner ad that is positioned at the bottom right hand of the screen, which will have the name of your business, Forever Sweet. It's not just cakes, it's art. When a viewer clicks on the B button on the remote, it then goes to a microsite, which is essentially a static ad that fills the screen. And on that, you would have the opportunity to actually show a design of a cake and give your contact information. So that's a very powerful way, very cost-effective way that you can get broadcast impact in terms of your advertising without the significant investment in a 30-second or 45-second or 1-minute TV ad.
It's now time to return to the boardroom and update the innovators.
Preston, Sujan, welcome back. It's great to see you guys.
Thank you.
So tell us, we're dying to hear. How's it been?
We have started to standardize some stuff. We have introduced a new gourmet cupcake line, which it's not designer, so it takes a lot less time. And we have also brought in designer cakes, but we cut down the time in which we do them. So we don't go through that long process of fondant. We actually use buttercream instead and replace a design aspect to the cake. So it cuts the time that the cake takes to be done in practically half.
What we actually are doing now, we are actually making more recipes. We have more standardized products.
I feel like jumping up and dancing right now. I'm so excited for you guys because that's exactly the point. I mean, now you have a platform for growth. You understand why it's important to standardize your product. We can't say it enough, and that's exactly what Delia was saying to you when you came in here. You know, how she's able to do her business, that everything is standard. So now you see the value of that. It's just amazing. I'm so pleased.
And when you standardize your process as well, then if you need help, you have it.
Yes.
You have it down pat, so you can now get help to come in and say, this is the recipe, this is the process that you go through to make the batter, and you can take on volume.
This is great. Very, very, very excited about it, and it all sounds great. But you know what we really want to know? We want to know, are you making more money?
Definitely on our way.
Well, that's great to hear.
Forward, 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 forward. Reverse jump
Jen and Preston will do well because they were so hungry for advice that they listened carefully. They went home and they standardized their product. They looked at the time they were spending. They managed to cut down on their time, which they were not costing into the whole venture. And they cut down the cost of their raw materials, which is also very important when you want to make a profit. They'll continue on the path, and I think they will do really well.
With Sujan and Preston, I think the lesson here is that it doesn't matter how much you want to be able to deliver a top quality product, sometimes the market just cannot afford it. And so you have to do the next best thing, which is try to deliver a product that's fantastic, but get your costs low. In this environment, you really have to focus on your costs and try to make sure that you're making a profit, even if you have to eke it out.
I have to be honest with you, I was a bit concerned at the beginning when we first met Sujan and Preston. They're in a very competitive space, but I'm feeling very comfortable now because what they've done is they've gone in, they've standardized their product, they've innovated their offerings, and I think that will certainly make them a lot more competitive. And if they stay on that path and continue to do that, they should be in a great position to do very well.
I must say this has been a wonderful experience. One I'm very grateful for from the beginning, where we were given our assignments, the whole process of really getting the information that we need, the things that we really need to get done, and just really addressing them has been a wonderful experience.
Being on this show has really helped us a lot. Has really fine-tuned a lot of stuff that we were taking for granted. We'd just like to say thank you to the whole Innovators team for having us, for helping us out, giving us the much needed help that we needed, because we are definitely on our way to success.
The boardroom table and chairs were provided by the Corporate Interiors International Limited. We sell solutions, not just furniture. Gary's wardrobe was provided by Max Brown Limited.